Welcome back to another episode of Aquatic Oasis. My name is Ross, and today we're going to do a little bit of a reboot of an episode we did, I think, a year and a half ago, and that's where we made frag plugs. This time around, we're making frag tiles for anyone that wants to keep like a mother colony to grow off of. Now, we're doing this super cheap and super easy, not as nearly as complicated as before. Here we have a styrofoam box. That's going to be our frame for the silicone mold, and we're going to put our tiles down at the base. And I'm also going to fill in that extra space with some frag plugs because why not? And I'm using coconut oil here as a release. That way, when you are finished drying your silicone mold out, it'll pull off away from those tiles very easily. The silicone we're using this time is the silicone I purchased from Hobby Lobby. I had to purchase 4 of these in order to complete the mold, and they were $20 a piece, so about $80. It is cheaper than the last mold I made, considering the size too. This is a bigger mold. The last one cost me $100 even, so a little bit cheaper and maybe convenient if you have a local Hobby Lobby, then you don't have to order it. So the silicone works the same way. Part A is the silicone base, and then part B is going to be your catalyst. It in their instructions, this particular one just really wants you to stir it in as much as you can and get a nice consistent mix before pouring it over the tiles that you're going to be casting. So that's what I'm doing here. Just fill in all those empty spaces. Like I said, I did have to buy 4 of these, so this is just one, and you can see how far it goes. To be honest, at the end of this, I probably should have bought a 5th one just to make it a little thicker. That would have put me at the same cost as the other mold that I had made last year. Once you have all your silicone based out for your casting, then you can start collecting your material that you're going to be making these with. I'm using gray Portland cement, aragonite reef sand, and what I'm doing here is I'm just mixing it. I find it easier to mix it before adding water. And then, of course, add your water. Now go very slowly. If you go too runny, it won't have any strength even after it dries completely. And what you're looking for is like a sour cream consistency. So just a little runnier. That way you can make sure you fill in all the voids and gaps. Just add a little bit to each space. I'm using a little plastic straw to spread it around. Don't make fun of my troweling. And ended up needing a little bit more. What I used for my ratio was a 1 to 1/2 ratio. 1 ratio cement and then half with the sand. And I ended up using like 3 of those. So you'll have to experiment when you start playing with your cement. I'm using a spatula there for our barbecue. Like I said, don't make fun of me. And we're going to go ahead and fill these plugs in as well. I use that straw to make sure that that cement gets down in the base of that plug. Now, to keep it from drying out too quickly, I just put a little bit of saran wrap over the cement and I let it sit overnight. I probably should have waited an extra day. This is thicker than what I'm used to, so some of these were a little crumbly, but I went ahead and I was daring enough to get this first one out just because I wanted to show it to the camera. And you just got to be really careful not to break it. It does cure rock hard, but it takes, a little longer. So there it is, the first tile. And in my opinion, that looks great. It even has a little texture, and one side's smooth depending on how you want to place it down. Let's see how these plugs turned out. And it looks great. Yeah, plugs look amazing. You can definitely use those. So out of this mold that I made, you can get, it looked like 8 tiles and 9 plugs. Now, you do have to cure these. They are a lime-based cement, so you have to cure them in just water, just tap water, nothing special. And after a couple hours of sitting in the tap water, the cement starts to leach this white fluff. I don't know if you see that in the water. I'm going to stir it around a little bit so you can see it. But that fluff is basically what you're needing to cure the cement of. A lot of people will test the water to see and watch the pH. And when it returns to normal, you know it's cured. What I do is I just let this fluff come out of the cement. I stir it around, dump that water, and then refill the container that I'm holding them with fresh water. And then once I stop seeing that fluffy white stuff leaching from the cement, I consider it good, and then I age it in my sump. A lot of frag plugs that are aged will actually allow the coral to encrust a little easier. I'm not sure why, if it's bacteria growth or whatever, but I do that, and I've noticed that it does a great job with helping corals getting a little extra boost after being cut. So let us know what you think of this process, and if you give it a try. I really liked this mold. In fact, I liked it more than the original one, and I see us using it a lot in the future. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to this episode, and I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments below on what you thought of the process, any pointers you would like to give us, or if you had a similar experience making your own mold. Please like the video, leave a comment if you wish, and subscribe. Hitting the bell there on the right will allow you to get notifications of all our future videos. And as always, happy reefing from Aquatic Oasis.